The curtain will soon close on the Tiffany Henyard's show, but not before one last dance.
All right, let's get into this. Local politics, I always tell people, is so important. You know, there's always a big hoopla about Donald Trump. There's always a big hoopla about everything that's federal. But I always tell people that state, municipal, your town, your mayor is always important. So I've been covering Tiffany Henyard about a year now. The mayor of Dolton, Illinois, if you were paying attention over the past 2 to 4 years, you've definitely heard her name. She's been crowned the worst mayor in America. She's officially out of the game.
Tiffany Henyard does spend a lot of money, some of it on worthwhile programs, but she's also benefited handsomely and questionably. Newly obtained records show last year Henyard was paid more than $347,000 from Dolton and Thornton Township, the two governments she runs. That's more than Chicago's mayor makes. Henyard's comp includes $282,000 from the township, which also gave her a $4,900 per month expense allowance.
So just so people put it in perspective, she makes more than this is crazy work. She makes more than the mayor of Chicago. Chicago has like 2.5 million people. Dolton has 22,000. And the township, I don't know the full tally on the township as far as her being supervisor, but even as the mayor dealing with all of the stuff Chicago has going on, Tiffany Henyard made more than him, right? So it puts it in perspective for you. Now, you got to understand other thing, too, is that if you've been following the story, Tiffany Henyard, with the Thornton Township position and the mayor position, she was getting a lot of money. She was spending a lot of money, taxpayer money, in ways that it shouldn't have been spent. She didn't come out of nowhere, though. She came up through the ranks. She was a trustee for 8 years, and she eventually got elected as mayor. And I think people really had high hopes for her at the time. So you really never know what people are going to do. So I don't want to make it sound like she came out of nowhere.
Supervisor,
Come on now.
Go on, be with
People want to know what's next for you.
know what's next. Why you out here? Why are you out here?
We were there for Henyard's final food giveaway and a new tally of what she's cost taxpayers. On Easter weekend, cars lined up for blocks. Tens of thousands of tax dollars spent for another one of Henyard's famous food giveaways.
Our last hurrah, and I did not vote for that woman, and I didn't vote for her before, but I'm going to give me something to eat today.
And you know, this is just essentially tax dollars that taxpayers already pay, getting the money back. They're basically getting their tax dollars back in the form of food. So
Dolton taxpayers spent 6 figures on 2 SUVs police used to chauffeur Henyard.
Trustee Gray Everett, Supervisor Henyard.
And did we mention Henyard hasn't attended a single meeting since she lost re-election?
Why haven't you been to board meetings since your defeat? And work.
now look, Tiffany Henyard don't give a damn about showing up to any meeting now. She lost in the Dolton race to Jason House. Again, congratulations to Jason House. And she obviously lost the township seat, Napoleon Harris. I don't really understand what was on her mind, but look, we're in a very interesting time right now. I think for politics in general, we are in a great time because we're in a time now where everybody should be paying attention to everything. I'm actually going to be interviewing a mayoral candidate for East Orange in about a week. And look, I love the mayor we have right now, Ted Green, but you know, it's going to be interesting to see someone else who's running up against him for mayor. But local politics is very important, and local politics often gets overlooked. Local politics is what really affects our lives in a lot of ways, because having the wrong mayor, having the wrong school superintendent, having the wrong governor, if you're talking about state, can really affect your living.
You don't want to answer? You're still getting paid. Why not go to the meetings?
It just proves that what she was doing was very selfish. It wasn't about the people.
Stephanie Wiedemann worked for the township for 20 years and blew the whistle on many of Henyard's antics.
If she had just said, "Oh, I made a mistake," everybody would have moved on. We pointed out the mistakes and she put on the show. You know, everybody paid attention because every 2 weeks it was like a sitcom.
Y'all are black, and y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman.
for about I would say for a good year or so, the Dolton board meetings became like a soap opera, and it's sad because people, not only in America but all over the world, were starting to tune into this like it was a show. And the thing about it is, I grew up in Dolton. Of course, like I said, I talked to my friend Vivian a lot about this, and she's always been on the ground in this. And they were living through this stuff. So while people were sitting back watching this and being entertained by this is people's real lives. Imagine that this is the mayor who's running your town, the place you're paying taxes to. You understand what I mean? Where basic services you get from your township are coming through this person as a leader, and it's crazy. Just to give you perspective, her assistant at one time, the assistant to this mayor, was making over $100,000 a year, right? It's no disrespect to her, but you got to understand that the assistant to the mayor isn't supposed to make over $100,000 a year when technically the mayor doesn't make that much. Just the Dolton salary wasn't that much.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
You the ones that's costing the village money.
Okay. I don't have that call. All right. Okay.
What was she supposed to do? You wanted her to expound that? Don't drag out the meeting.
I made a motion.
WGN Investigates has documented first-class trips for Henyard and her entourage that cost taxpayers well over $100,000. There was a stay at a Four Seasons and steak dinners. In late 2023, this was how she explained it.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Taxpayers are the ones stuck with the bill. The supervisor and others get unusual perks, including $600 a day for every day they travel out of state for the township, and $400 per day for travel within Illinois, plus the cost of their travel expenses. We asked Henyard's successor whether he agrees with the supersized paydays.
What you make is based upon what you are able to deliver. That's more so saying, like, people believe that professional athletes shouldn't get paid millions of dollars, that doctors should be, or teachers for that matter. So I'm not going to get here and go into a debate about what should be getting or what should be this salary or this.
With what we've been through and how easily we saw it is to abuse the system, I think it's important that the residents pay attention and continue to pay attention and continue to hold people accountable.
Honestly, as I said, I've covered this for a while too. And I'd say that, what happened with her is I think that some people are living in the past. Now, Tiffany Henyard's not that old. She might be maybe early 40s, 41, 42. But I think she's living in a time where her mind is in a time where local politicians used to get away with a lot of things. People weren't auditing things. The news wasn't on you. Social media was not on you. It's very difficult to get away with things now, because what's happening now is, even if people don't see it now, they're going to see it later. Just like if you're following Attorney General Letitia James, right now, they're finding stuff. She was the Attorney General who went hard for Trump. Now they're finding stuff with her regarding mortgage fraud. So you got to understand that people will go back and find things now because there's so much information on the internet. And if they do find something, they can post it. People can put together timelines. People can string together things that you're doing, so people can see what you're doing. It's not like you can just pretend like, oh, I'm in this high office. I'm mayor. I'm governor. I'm senator, and we're handling official business and blah blah. This is not the 90s or the 80s. Everything is online now. Everything is susceptible to be scrutinized, and I don't think that this mayor understood that.
Despite it all, the spending, a questionable cancer charity, an ongoing FBI investigation, and even a brawl at a board meeting, Henyard still has her supporters.
I think she's doing what men have been doing for years as far as her security and all those things. She needs that.
She give back to the community, so, what more can people ask for?
Her doing what men have always done. This really has nothing to do with men and women. And this is the problem I want to say. The problem is that we got to stop voting on identity. It would have been dope to see a female mayor be young, run the town well and things go well. But if you can't see that things went so badly, then unfortunately, how do we choose good leaders? Again, this isn't just about Dolton, but again, you got to look at the results of what happens. The results are everything. It doesn't matter her image and how she come off, and she's claiming that she speaks for the young people and she relates to young people. All that stuff a lot of times is just a finesse to get you to like someone. You know what I'm saying? And all those qualities are good if you're young and you're hip. You're fly, you know how to talk to young people, you know how to relate to the younger people. That's great. That's a great thing. But the results matter. And all the turmoil she brought the village of Dolton and all the turmoil she brought to Thornton Township, you can't unsee it. It is what it is. To me, it's a great honor to be a mayor. It means a lot, in my opinion, because you are very much directly affecting people's lives, far more than even the president.